Interlagos, a track by all intents and purposes, a legend. A track which has been the final round of Formula One Championships, has been a near opener for Formula One Championships. But every time that drivers find themselves here, it's a special track that has itself special abilities to put on great racing. My name's Jake Sperry. Scott Fountain alongside with me today for your iRacing Grand Prix series. We tackle here the 15 turns, the 4.31 kilometers, and every single bit of power and prestige that comes into play. Fonzie, this is a track which holds every single facet of a race and also holds the ability to allow amazing amounts of overtaking.
Yes, exactly right, Sperry. Hello everybody for round number 8 of the iRacing Grand Prix Series Championship. Absolutely love this track, Sperry. We were here last weekend for V8 Scops, and yeah, such awesome racing in that series, and I expect great racing here tonight, mate.
Absolutely, and it's this great racing that we are going to be focusing on here today, as we are currently in the midst of qualifying. Here is the Autodromo José Carlos Pache circuit here, a challenge through the Senna S all the way through the Curva de Sol, and then that run on the Greater Acosta, and that middle sector as well could be the most crucial in terms of putting the lap together. You know that you've got to be quick through that very slow right, left, right, which effectively characterizes just how big a lap is. The Pinheirinho, the Bico de Pato, the Hulo, all of that section pretty much requires ultimate concentration.
Yeah, exactly right, mate. It certainly does. It's really tough on tyres, this place, and plenty of passing opportunities, especially to turn 1. Very difficult turn 1 to get right. You can easily find yourself overshooting it. And yeah, such an awesome place for strategy, which we both know this series is all on strategy, and yeah, it should be a great event.
It certainly will be out there on the circuit. We can see different areas of runoff around the circuit. It has had its changes over the years. That is the section of road up at Junsao, the junction corner, as you try and manage your way through that section of track. But as things currently stand, it is simply Bayernen currently on top at this point, 110.0, immediately knocked off by one of the hometown heroes, Diogo Oliveira, at 109.9, good enough then to go to the fastest time overall. But this is a reduced field in terms of two splits today, just 17 drivers. How will that look to make life easier for drivers today as they look to navigate through the opening corners?
Yeah, certainly right. We'll make it a lot easier. Generally, don't see a huge amount of accidents in the first laps in this particular series. These guys are generally pretty good at what they do, and these cars can't handle a bit of door rubbing action. Generally, if there is rubbing action, then we're losing front wings, and you're getting top speed, getting chopped off these things pretty quickly. So, a bit surprised to see that there's only this many drivers out there on track today, but still some great drivers out there. The regulars, Kent Nielsen, good to see him out there. John Pat Kelly as well. It's going to be a great race as always with Matt Wood, Diogo Oliveira, Claver Toffoli. Expect them to be right there in the hunt.
Speaking of right there, Dennis Branch with a great qualifying time has moved himself up into second position overall. So a lot of surprises to be had, and drivers staggering their qualifyings out there. There is Matt Wood in the number 1 car. This is his second lap. He's got himself a 10th of a second right now, but he has no relative time in comparison to the likes of Jorge Martinez, who hasn't gone. Reynaldo Augusto, who hasn't gone yet. And as there is the charge to the line, that is an improvement for Matt Wood. 109.5 finds an extra 0.2 of a second to build the margin up.
Yep, certainly right. Pretty good lap there from Matt Wood, as expected. Yeah, very good on strategy as Matt Wood, so yeah, certainly gives them an advantage being on top at the moment. We still have Claver Toffoli. No, he has finished up a lap. Thomas Wick still out there on a lap, and looking pretty good in those Petronas colours there.
Yeah, certainly doing a good job at the moment, but he is down though now in 14th position. on that 1:10.5, the second slowest of those who set times, but that'll improve. 10 flat, goes to 5th fastest there with that one, just behind Remy Garcia. So a very, very solid approach then to that lap as they go through. But Marquez here is out there on a lap as Toffoli comes back out on circuit. That's a 9.8 from Marquez, who goes 3rd fastest with that. But Fonte, he's got another lap in the bank.
Yeah, let's jump on board for him for this lap and see how he gets on. He is a very good driver, is Jorge Marquez, and yeah, really knows his stuff when it comes to looking after his tyres. Always seems to do a little bit of a different strategy than most, but generally works out pretty good for him.
Certainly does, and Marquez knows just how quick he needs to be as he jumps through the middle sector and tries to open up as much as it possibly can. So Augusto now going 2nd fastest on a 109.6, so the number 10 looking really good. But for Marquez right now, that Mag Performance machine, it is a run up here through a brilliant sector of road. Junsao up through the Esquina dos Boxes and Arquibancadas over towards the start-finish line. What can Marquez do over the line? It's a 7.45. He jumps Dennis Branch. He goes 3rd quickest overall. So with that in mind, everybody has now finished all of their laps out there. Toffoli just getting some practice laps in. That will not count towards his qualifying right now. So what we are going to be able to do for you is take ourselves over towards that starting grid and understand how everyone will be stacking up at Interlagos today. It is the number 1 machine who will be on that pole position outright. So we take a little look into the distance here in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Matt Woods 109.570, good enough on pole, with Reynaldo Augusto on the front row alongside Jorge Marquez, and Dennis Branch will be on row 2. And for Diogo Oliveira, he'll be upset that he spun on his 2nd lap of qualifying. He'll start from 5th, and he'll have Remy Garcia in 6th position alongside for the ride. Thomas Wieck, the Danishman, the Dane, is there in 7th position, with Kleber Toffoli 8th, Samuli Väyrynen going from 9th, and Anthony Katz rounding out then the top 10. Masafumi Abarame goes from 11th, with Kent Nielsen in 12th. Behind that is Liam Buckley and Gennady Kalashnikov, Jacob Oberslack, John Pat Kelly, and Hiroyuki Sekaguchi, making up the 17 drivers here today that will be battling it out at this Interlagos circuit. Fonte, how important are the opening couple of corners going to be? Because you do have that ability to attack.
Yeah, you certainly do. Yeah, it's going to be really important for these guys. As I said before, turn 1 is really, really difficult. So, yeah, if someone makes a mistake a little bit further back in the field and outbreaks themselves, we could see something major unfold into that turn 1. But yeah, expect you want to just kind of have a good start off here, and that first long straight after turn 3, the big long sweeping left-hander, it's going to create plenty of passing opportunities. So the likes of Matt Wood and Marquez, they're going to want to try and break away from Oliveira and Dennis Branch, which Dennis Branch, fantastic lap by him to put himself up there on P5, I think it was, P4, P5. So yeah, no, I expect to see a great start from those guys.
I expect so as well, and with Dennis Branch 4th position, this could be any number of realities. 47 laps here today, so it's going to be a long haul to get themselves over to exactly where they need to be. Front 2 on the grid, Matt Wood and Reynaldo Augusto, just waiting for the last couple of drivers to take their spots, and they are the drivers in 3rd and 5th, Jorge Marquez and Diogo Oliveira. Now just Jorge Marquez, and now the process of waiting goes. We've got 2 minutes to grid up here in iRacing, or you start from that place known as pit lane, and that's not necessarily the baddest thing in the world on a reduced 17-car field like it is today. And as you get that run up over the rise, those in about the 4th position on the grid and back have that advantage of gravity to help them off the line. Everybody then on the grid. Let's get ourselves ready then. 47 laps today here from the Autodromo José Carlos Pache. Lights are on and lights are out. start. The inside road did not go anywhere. And that means Martinez up into second already. Dives through. And Oliveira challenging the third as they go through the center S then. For the very first time. Everybody managing to make their way through and into the curve of Soft. They charge on forward. No DRS for the first 3 laps. Try and challenge over towards Interlagos turn 4. Big mess up and round. That's going to be Oliveira in trouble.
Yeah, big moment there for Oliveira. There was a good breakaway there from Martinez and Wood in that first few corners. But yeah, heartbreak there for Diego Oliveira.
Yeah, that was not what you want off the start of a race like this. And on top of that, he was joined with Gennady Kalashnikov and Samuli Väyrynen, who also went off then at turn number 4. So they're all at the back of the order, and that was Kalashnikov tagging the back of Samuli Väyrynen going through into that section. But Matt Wood has lost the lead at the front of the field because a very, very good move coming out then of that section of track allowed Jorge Martinez to go from what was third on the grid to the race lead. 1 lap still complete.
Yeah, very good move there by Martinez. Great way to start the race. Matt Wood probably just playing the safe game, looking after those tyres. We do 47 laps in this one, so just keeping it cool. We know how good he is towards the end of the race. One person who is looking very racy at the moment is Ronaldo Augusto, back there in third, hanging on the back. He managed to close that gap up to Matt Wood after those first initial corners. Kent Nielsen moved up to 5th position.
Yeah, Kent Nielsen's done really well. He's gained 7 spots on the opening lap as he charges up, chasing the day. Thomas Meek with Dennis Branch currently in 6th position. He's got past the SRT sports car of Prix out there on track. Every single driver has started on the Red Bull soft compound tyre for this race, so there's no variance right now in terms of strategy. It's going to be about how far can you make it last in terms of the tyre. Top 3 with a bit of a gap. Thomas Meek desperately trying to call on a bit of smoke there in the background as folks with Jacob Oberslack and Hiroyuki Sekaguchi out there on the circuit. Sekaguchi just clawing up to the back of Oberslack, who has had a moment going with Rico De Pato just got the grass and half spun it.
Yeah, there we go. So Jacob Oberstack making a little bit of a mistake early on. Looking at the front though, Martinez, he's pulling a bit of a gap from Matt Wood. Pretty similar lap times, an 11.9 fastest lap of the race there for Martinez, and a 12.1 for Matt Wood. Ronaldo Augusto 12.3, so very similar times between those guys. Thomas Victo punched out a great lap time there, fastest lap of the race so far with an 11.915.
Very good 11.915, and it does count towards it, so fastest lap then in the back of the pocket. But now it's about settling down into the rhythm. This race is going to feel long, and we're going to have a lot of challenging to go and do. Beat up 3 places then off the start. We're getting small packs starting to form here, 2 or 3 car groups here and there. Remy Garcia behind him, Flavor Foley and Anthony Cat. This is going to be an interesting look. 7th, 8th and 9th. Cat is normally a runner who goes onto the mediums to start his races. I'm surprised to see him on the soft housing. First time in a long time to run the same strategy as everyone else. Yeah,
exactly right. Maybe he's had a change of game plan and wanting to stick with what the majority of people do. Oh, nice little battle back here for 13th position. Samuli Väyrynen getting past John Pat Kelly, but he's not going to make it that easy. Something's happening to John Pat Kelly, maybe.
That's what we call Fonty letting everyone through, not racing the race, as Kalashnikov down the inside gets it done on Samuli Väyrynen. No love lost between these two. They collided on lap 1. They're going to fight all the way up the hill here, and it's not going to work for the Fire Orange number 6 have to stay behind.
Yeah, certainly won't work. It's a great little battle here going on between these guys. Another battle further up. Flavor Foley, Anthony Cat going at it.
Is through, so a comfortable move there. That was unlocked going around the outside of practically the entire middle sector. So Cat working it out, getting into place, understanding what is needed to in early stage. Lap 4 going to lap 5 here on 27. Let's talk strategy here today, though. The key is going to be, how do you get yourself to lap 24 overall, as we see Toffoli under pressure. Here comes a little look then from Liam Buckley, trying to find a way through in a number 14 machine. And base default paint for Liam, as he takes the charge through the curve of the salt and tries to launch himself down the Reto Aposta to what was Disquita de Lago, the lakeside corner.
Yep, certainly. Back down to 17th position and then to move back up to 13th after 5 laps. So you can see him finishing potentially top 5 if things work out.
No, I think the race win's gone, but you never know around here. Still only 10 seconds back in the race lead, and with work to do, he can chase himself back on board then with Liam Buckley as we charge on towards another lap here around this place, and he's just getting stuck now in that DRS train element that you see out there around this circuit. If the car in front of you's got DRS, as Toffoli has Anthony Cat just in front, it gets very difficult to make your way to the next group, give yourself enough to go out there and make some overtakes. So patience is going to have to be exercised with caution. What is interesting at the front especially is that Matt Will and Jorge Marquez are trading lap times here at the front. It's about a half a second to 7/10 of a second gap over the line as they make their way through Mahulo, Pinarino up to Liga Pato. Mahulo will be the next left-hander after this. It is very much a case of Martinez just trying to master the middle sector to give himself some room.
Yeah, you certainly right there. That would just keep in that gap at a safe distance, half a second between them, so within that DRS range. Lap 3 there for Martinez. Actually a little bit of a mistake. Ronaldo Gusto hanging on the back there, coming out of a second behind Thomas Leak. Has dropped a little bit of time to those guys though. He's 1.5 seconds back, getting pulled in from Kent Nielsen, isn't it?
Yeah, Kent Nielsen's trying to bring himself back into play. It's been a disappointing season so far. Car number 8, as the charge continues on, keeping himself packed and steady against the Dane. Kent knows he's just got to be patient here. He's not out of this race by any stretch of the imagination, but I will keep an eye out on car number 10, who has been up there, trying to find that pace all season to get back near the front, has the ability to fight near the front. It's all about unlocking it and giving exactly what you want. Third place, Ronaldo Augusto. Home soil virtually as well. This is definitely a race that you want to go and win.
Certainly is. I think we're going to win. So, really in the hunt. In the battle for taking this season, we have what remaining rounds up this event. Fantastic.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Ronaldo Augusto pushing forward, knowing that everything that he possibly can is going to be about staying with pace in front to 9/10 of a second the gap. Beak looking behind as well, because Dennis Branch has actually worked really hard to get onto the back of this group. Has dropped Remy Garcia by the tune of 3 seconds. And if Branch can make up the terrible start he had to this race, back up into 5th and 4th in no time at all. So that's his focus right now in the very much blue flag sim racing machine. Charge down and into Junsao, the junction up the hill, and trying to make that run once again. You're always struggling a little bit coming out of Junsao. That is a trouble corner, and once you get through this section, it's all out rough, because this scan was just before the changes made to pit road back in 2015 now, I think it was, which means that you've got that really deceptive line into the pits. So there goes Anthony Cat around Remy Garcia.
Yeah, great move there for Anthony Cat. Over catch a replay of exactly what happened there.
Big easy pass here. Crucial Sal just picks it up. You get DRS on that front stretch as well. There's not really much you can do to defend at that point in time. The Red Bulls of Remy Garcia. It's the Red Bulls there of Anthony Cat. Went defensive for it though, but you know, by the time he gets there, there's an overtaking tool who's already by.
From Anthony Cat. Move up into 7th place now.
Getting a bit congested right now. Say Cat trying to escape the rat race. As you've got Remy Garcia, Foley's going to have to look behind at Liam Buckley. You've got Masafumi Abarame, who has gone nowhere in this race. And then just behind that, you've got Gennady Kalashnikov starting to search about for a bit of moves in towards turn number 1 and to the centre S once again. Now, once again, patience is there, but it is just that, patience. Unable to really find much more as they make the charge down to turn 4 again.
Foley in the mix there as well. Fantastic job looking for that opening. Then not too far behind. See how quickly he can make his way through past these guys safely. Fielders bit close. Yeah, we have at the moment 3 seconds between these guys. So, see, Vera way up there. Time to shot, potentially get a top 3 finish.
Well, it's going to be a long haul for Diogo. He has opportunities, but there's little move behind as Abarame's under pressure right now from Gennady Kalashnikov. Pushes a bit wide through turn 1. See that back a shot, but he holds on for the moment. But through 3, able to hold right behind. Here comes Kalashnikov. DRS of both of them and being squeezed on the grass. He manufactures the room, dives down to the inside, and Masafumi Abarame still has to try and hold that line as they move through the left and back up onto the power. Goodbye and good night. It is the move done for Gennady Kalashnikov.
Yeah, fantastic. Job done. Gonna let him go. He's going to go outside, or he's going to have the inside run. He's going to have to get off the gas though. He climbs over. Drop there. Where he sits. Yeah, he's starting to open up. Second between these 2 cars now. One of these cars cost you big time. So much acceleration that car in front accelerate by very quickly.
There's also worth noting that Ken Nielsen now is on top. Done so in through turn 4. That was where he picked it up. So Ken Nielsen now a lap ago, picking up the move, making the place work. And we'll catch it on the virtual racing school replay, hopefully. Having a little look here around this place, and it was just a little bit further back from that. Around turn 4 is where the pass managed to make itself happen. But a very good run there and move to sort itself out. Here's the move down the inside. Easy as you like. That's how you construct it. And Fonte, you know, this is what we've been seeing. Drivers getting good runs out of 2 and 3. And then through 3, ERS. This is about as bread and butter as it gets at Interlagos.
Yeah, certainly is a great passing opportunity. Probably the most popular passing opportunity that you can get to get a bad run off turn 2 and 3 with the left-hander.
Yeah, they can be all about that. Do want to focus though back on the front 2 as we go back to live coverage here of your iRacing Grand Prix series, and here it is. It's Martinez and Wood, and the key here is that they are absolutely flying in comparison to everybody else that they are racing against. right now. There's also Toffoli and Buckley pretty close. Renato Augusto is now 3.2 seconds back as here comes the look then from Liam Buckley, trying to go to the outside, trying to get this move done. But in blue, Ivan Toffoli is doing just enough. But look at the power you can get. Resting the rise up to Ferradura, the horseshoe corner. And not in the right position for Liam Buckley. He has to wait again.
He does. Single file stuff through these next few corners. This is bringing Fumi and Rama into the mix as well. Diego Oliveira just comfortably behind there into opposition. We have seen a couple of cars trip the pit lane and eventually Smurley Varanen and actually go through.
Yeah, Kalashnikov, he's had an off actually on lap 12. He was going through Junsao corner and completely missed it through the grass and actually found the barriers at low speed. So got a front wing change while he was at it. That's why it's a 10.1 second time in the box, and he is now down near the back of the field for it. So that's just the tail end of it there of Gennady Kalashnikov there. So he had that hit into the pits. That definitely didn't help. And there you see it. Full lock trying to avoid it, but once he'd locked those tyres up, Fonzie, he had no way of actually letting the car roll, and effectively he was just a passenger at that point, sliding through the grass.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That's just a passenger. He touches those grass, locks up, just nudged the barrier, but he didn't take much in one of these cars to actually get damaged. The lane. In last position, 17th, bit of a gap there to the next guys in front. Oh, there we go, another car into the lane. That was a big lock up there for
Augusto.
So we're going to have a look at that entry to pit lane, I think.
Well, this is one of the fastest pit lanes from top speed to transit time. Go from 310 k's here, Fonzie, all the way down to 72.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, very, very quick point in the track. So committed to one of these cars, bang on the brakes. Oh, couldn't do any better myself.
Absolutely not. He was right on the limit. He got himself out in the way as well between John Pat Kelly and Hiroyuki Sekaguchi. So good pit stop there for him, looking for the second to last box in the lane. You can see he gets the tyres. There's no refueling in these cars. And then as he left the lane, that was as pretty slick as they come about out there in terms of racing. But now we're starting to see some interesting things. Martinez in the pits, Nielsen also in the pits. Veek will come in and Cat will stay out. So they're going about 15 laps at the moment in terms of the soft. Expect them to be a little bit of variance in terms of who's going for what. Everyone at the moment has gone soft, soft, soft is the way to win this race, which means it's a two-stop.
Yep, certainly does mean a two-stop. We haven't seen everyone go through the pits yet. Potentially Matt Wood could throw a curveball in on this one. Ken Nielsen coming out of the pits. Position, so still another 5 cars to make a pit stop. Wood, Cat, Navarama, and Liam Buckley.
Definitely looks that way. So what is going to be key now is that if you are staying out, how does the tyre life favour at this stage? Track conditions 31 degrees, instant times coming up to 5 o'clock as Nielsen struggles to get past Sekaguchi here through the middle sector of the lap. But the key here now is that these are colder conditions. These conditions are more ideal for I would say, tyre operating window of the soft compound tyre. As at this moment in time, everyone deciding that they want to stay out, except Liam Buckley, who dives in.
Buckley in the lane, making it stop. And, looks like he had a pretty good entry in, so there'll be no pit lane speeding penalty for him. Nice quick stop. Potentially, there he is. He's gone away now. out of the pit lane, come out in 13th, so effectively going to move up 5 spots. The other drivers make their stop.
Yeah, absolutely. Just comes out ahead of Smiley Bayronen, who was a little bit quicker on that stop. There is Ashley Platt driving around in the Chelsea car at this point in time, doing a pretty decent job of things out there today as he goes through South and tries to press the rise, and he'll be hoping that it is more than a draw his team had today. And there is Diogo Oliveira. Diogo in the number 3. Got his eyes on Kleber Toffoli and Remy Garcia here, which is around about that fight, 6th, 7th, 8th position. So Oliveira has done a lot of work to get himself into play.
Yeah, it certainly is. We've got Matt Wood is in the lane. He has made a stop. He's going to come out in effectively 2nd position here. Good stop there for Wood. Didn't see his entry, but he didn't get a pit lane speeding penalty, so clearly alright on that. Bit of a gap there to Martinez though. 3.1 seconds down the road is Martinez.
Yeah, certainly has been, and that's just what new tyres are going to do. Matt Wood went to lap 17 on his stint, so what that tells you is that he wants to use that tyre life with the advantage he will have and give himself as much as he can for a last gasp sprint home. And he's got a bit of work to do to get back now to Jorge Martinez, who leads this race on lap 18 here of 47 at Autodromo José Carlos Pache overall. Thomas Vieck finds himself in a situation right now. What an amazing battle this is here, as Sakaguchi, who is yet to come down and make his stop, is just the big bottleneck at this point in time. They're going to crest up the hill, but Vieck's got Branch, Garcia and Toffoli and Oliveira. They are all there, waiting for it to play out the way that they want to. Look at the chase as they go along here towards this opening section. Here comes Vieck with the lunge, and there's not much Sakaguchi can do, and unable to follow with that level of aggressivity is Dennis Branch.
Yeah, Dennis Branch going to get held up a little bit there, just with the condition of Sakaguchi's tyres. They're getting off the corner. It's going to slide up those cars behind, but we're going to see the move done. This is going to create an opportunity for Anthony Catt as well. Side-by-side action for these two. I don't think it's going to be made too difficult for him to make the pass. And there it is. Done. This is Remy Garcia, who's now caught up behind Kleber Toffoli, Diogo Oliveira there as well. I haven't, I expected Oliveira to make his way through a little bit quicker than what he did, but can't manage to get past these guys.
Not yet anyway, he's still got time, and that is crucial. It's a massive train. He goes really close to the back of his compatriot, Kleber Toffoli, as the lead changes out there. Masafumi Aberame giving it up for Jorge Martinez, who now leads outright with the overtake sorted. That will put him in 3rd position right now, and I have a feeling that the Japanese drivers today are trying to make a one-stop on soft work. That's why we're seeing the likes of Sakaguchi out there. But if you just get a comparison of what Aberame is doing right now to Martinez and Wood at this point, Martinez was an 11.8, Matt Wood was an 11.2, which was incredible enough to see. Aberame is legitimately sliding about this track on 113.2s, trying to make this viable.
Yeah, you can see the rear end coming around there. This is holding up Matt Wood in a difficult place to go on the outside. He's going to have to wait until the front straight where he will be able to get it done.
I mean, this is the key for Aberame's race. He's just got to drive calmly. He's got 3 seconds at this point in time, and he's looking for 3 laps in terms of his stint. Here comes Matt Wood though to the inside, but this should be plain sailing, diving down through, and it very much is. The gap now up to 2.7 seconds now. Martinez versus Wood, who only really got held up half a second there by that moment.
Yeah, every half a second counts though in this series. Matt Wood not putting his foot down. That would have hurt him quite a bit, I think, given that opportunity. He came out of the pits there with that fresh rubber, and to not be able to utilise that to his optimum will certainly affect the end result potentially, especially with a driver like Jorge Martinez, who is good at tyre control, good at looking after tyre life, and a great driver.
Yeah, very, very good driver. So good is Jorge Martinez. He's got himself the license for the Force Dynamics tomorrow iRacing Grand Prix Championship out there. Here comes a look though. Remy Garcia losing a place then. That going through is Claver Toffoli picking that one up around the outside. Leaves Oliveira a chance, but he'll probably wait for his chance to go and attack on the front stretch.
Yeah, there we go. Plenty of passing opportunities on this front straight, and I think he'll be able to get this one done pretty easy, although he made to go the long way. And also we've got,
get it.
He is going to get it. Dennis Branch and Anthony Cat there, bit of side-by-side action as well. Augusto though, making his way past Barama.
Done. Anthony Cat, by the way, did actually make the pass there on Dennis Branch, so a good move there. And Aberame, as we know, is just struggling with the tyres. Probably going to go one more lap here before he dives in, but Cat really flying here. He's now up into 7th place, sorry. He's up 3 spots now in this race. It has been a bit topsy-turvy so far, with a lot of differences being found to stop the prevailing focus, but the Japanese drivers of Aberame and Sekaguchi have been thinking that the one stop will serve them best in purpose to get them home in this race. So those are options that we are seeing out there on track at this stage. There is Matt Wood in 2nd position. His gap to the front of the field is 2.5 seconds that he is having to chase. They're both running 11.3s.
Yep, certainly are. Matt Wood not making massive gains on Martinez. Tyre life difference, 2 laps. He's now 7 lap old tyres. Matt Wood 5 lap old tyres. So really taken the best of the life out of the tyre as Matt Wood. Punching out pretty decent lap times. It'll be interesting to see what the next lap time by these front guys are. Augusto there in 3rd position, and Ken Nielsen just making that pass there on Masafubi Aberama for 4th position. We are going to see Aberama come in this lap. Sekaguchi, side-by-side action for him as well. Easy
for Liam Buckley, makes his way through. That's exactly what he wants. In comes Aberame then to make his pit stop. Very pedestrian with the line. That will cost him a couple seconds as he looks to come in, and there you can see a very, very animated machine for Hiroyuki Sekaguchi as he very much dives into the pits as well. And now it's all about the pit stop moving forward. Yeah, that's exactly right. Good pit lane entry there. Let's see what sort of time. Yeah, nice quick stop there for Sekaguchi. He's going to drop back into 17th position. That car is still in great condition though. No damage to that car at all. And he's going to make his way out there. 3.9 seconds he needs to find to the next car up the road. Certainly does. He'll have fresh tyres and he's got to use that advantage now rather than later. Here's Dennis Branch on his race right now. He knows he's got work to be doing as his eyes will be firmly on Anthony Cat, who will be just in front of him, but he is starting to fall away from the number 11 machine. Every driver has said soft compounds will work, mediums will not. We are not going to see any variance from that, of course, of racing tonight or today, wherever you are in the world watching action with us here with SimSpeed TV. We're over the halfway distance now, and so it's the long road for home as the charges are very much there, but this is now all about calm, finding yourself into that rhythm, working the middle stint, getting yourself to that final stint, which we're expecting shouldn't be a million miles away at this point in time.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Shouldn't be far away at all. With Matt Wood here, just closed that gap to Jorge Martinez to just under 2 seconds now. Not far at all, so it does have pace just slightly over Jorge Martinez. Diego Oliveira, no chance of him catching up to these boys. He is 5 minutes and 2 seconds down the road. Doing a fantastic job there. Third position, kind of a race of his own at the moment. It's Kent Nielsen, 4.2 seconds back in there in fourth. Thomas Veek chasing down Nielsen. He wants to get that move done pretty quickly. And Anthony Cat, 9 and 6.
Not too much of a gap here for Anthony Cat. He's only got 1.4 seconds to chase, and you can see that he very much wants to get in that DRS range against the Danish driver here, repping Mercedes colours. This may be the last season of the McLaren iteration of the iRacing Grand Prix series, with the news that in the next upcoming couple of builds or so, that there is a partnership coming along with Mercedes Petronas F1. So that excitement is as large as it has been. And you would also say at this point in time, Monty, that we have been due a brand new Formula 1 car. This McLaren MP430 has definitely served its purpose, most notably here in the sim racing world, famous for Martin Kroenke's 100% unbeaten season all the way back in 2016. So what you'd say is that this machine has done everything out there overall, has been a great servant for the iRacing series, but I'm pretty sure that any Mercedes F1 car that jumps in would be absolutely wonderful to see on the platform.
Oh, that's exactly right. Yeah, great to see the new spec cars coming to this series. This was one of the original World Championship classes across the world, and yeah, very, very competitive. Back when I was first joined iRacing in 2011, the series was pretty fierce, and it has never stopped from there. Upgraded from the Williams Formula 1 car originally, and we came to this McLaren, and then soon to be a new era of car racing in the Mercedes.
Absolutely. It's not just the fact that the machine of this year is jumping in, it's also next year's machine, I do believe, that will be jumping up onto the service. I'm certainly looking forward to that. There is the SRT machine of Remy Garcia on the chase of Kleber Toffoli. Left as high as 6th, has been as low as 12th, currently is in 10th. And the search is to give a little bit more room here in this race to go up to 9th position. How important is it to be top half in a race like this, Fonty, because of the way how iRacing works? A lower field in terms of numbers means that all of that work that you have to do is effectively multiplied by many.
Yes, exactly right. Well, when you're in the position of Remy Garcia, he was effectively the lowest iRacing driver to make this field of cars this race, so here's a good finish inside the top 10. His iRacing, well, comparing it to where the other guys, if the likes of Matt Wood, who is number 1, if he didn't happen to have a good race and work out in Remy Garcia's favour, but just moving forward in his iRacing is any kind of step in the right direction. It's always a little bit of a seesaw with iRacing. Find, make your way up there, gain a few hundred or a few thousand, a couple of bad races, and you know you can be dropping right back down again.
I love my repeating graph on here as Anthony Cat gets the move done on Thomas Veek down the inside through 1 and 2, comfortably setting that up and getting it done. But I do like my iRacing graph, Fonty. It looks like I've flatlined as I've gone along. I've got a big down, a big up, a big down, and then about 2 years where I haven't done a single race. So I've got a flat line, and I'm sure a lot of people have a very nice hilly climb in terms of the way that their iRacings are going today.
Yeah, you're certainly right. Yeah, pretty much the same. Don't do a huge amount of racing these days. Now that I have moved back to New Zealand and I do have a sim racing hopefully I'll find some time to cut some laps myself. But these days, with so many hosted events happening where iRacing doesn't come into play, well, for most of them anyway, you kind of do see a lot of flatlining when it comes to iRacing. You would know what is the highest iRacing driver that we have in the world.
I certainly would, and that would be roadside Maximilian Beneke. Over 11,000 iRacing. There's nobody in iRacing right now who has 10,000. Freddie Rasmussen, 10,000. Everyone else dropped down, that's 9.5. And into the pits, just behind, we see Liam Buckley, we see Samuli Väyrynen. They are diving in, they're getting their second stops done here on lap 30. Gives them a 17-lap stint to the end, and it isn't out of the realms of possibility here to see these shorter to rangier middle stints, because the way that the tyre wear works, would you say, Fonty, that less fuel in the car means that the tyre should have less scrubbing as you go through the corners?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a catch-22 at times, is that though, Sperry? You know, more fuel can sometimes help with getting the power down, especially one of these cars that have plenty of downforce as it is. We're seeing a nice side-by-side little battle here. Jacob Oberslack looking for a move there on Liam Buckley, not going to get it done, and this is forming up to be a great battle. Still reasonably close across the board. Ronaldo Augusto though, 9.6 seconds between himself and Matt Wood. Kent Nielsen making his way into the pit lane.
Followed behind as well by Dennis Branch in the number 4 Blue Flag racing car. And that should be a pretty simple stop then for him. Branch there on the back, so everyone knows who he is. He's going out there, he's racing, he's giving himself as much as he possibly can. Out there, he's got the Michael Schumacher tribute helmet on, charging around here. What is probably the most notorious pit exit out there in the world in terms of how difficult it is on iRacing. I'm still waiting for maybe in a not too distant future, and this is a hope beyond hope, that the Yas Marina circuit comes in terms of really difficult pit exits to try and get correct. But as you can see here from Oberslack's perspective, you get that hard left, you've got to go through the next right, and effectively you're attacking this fourth gear through the exit, knowing you've got the tiniest slither of hardcore rust you must avoid.
Yeah, this is one track that I would love to go and see in real life and have an opportunity to drive. Yeah, just a fantastic venue that creates great racing. Doesn't matter what the series is, you always see great racing in this place. I'm just watching Ronaldo Augusto making his second stop of the event. He's going to drop behind Thomas Leake, Diego Oliveira, and Ken Nielsen will come out just behind. Oliveira will come out. Augusto will come out just in front of him. Nielsen around there in 7th place. So another car in the pit lane.
Avi Kalashnikov, who has dived in then. It's not been the easiest race for him. Väyrynen is 1 lap down at this point in time. No retirees in this race, but here are the leading duo, Martinez and on board with Matt Wood. The gap 1.2 seconds. He has got himself to the back of Martinez using his tyres over this stint. Once again, this is where you play a game of chicken. These drivers have 15 seconds to the likes of Anthony Catton. They've just got to be alert to what they need to do. You can see 8th gear on the dash from Matt Wood. He clicks it down, 4th gear through the left. He's trying to get as much drive as he can. He goes up the hill towards Ferradura.
Yeah, it certainly is. Just comparing those lap times versus Martinez has done. Pretty shocking. Similar halfway through there. Best lap time for Matt Wood in 11th flat. Fastest lap of the race. No, not quite fastest lap of the race. I stand corrected. Faber Toffoli actually has the fastest lap of the race at this stage, and that was done on the last lap by for him. He's back in 10th position. 11.090 for Faber Toffoli, and Matt Wood at 11.091.
thousandth. You can't get much of a margin for that.
Here we go.
And in comes Marquez. We expected him to be first ahead of the likes, of course, of Matt Wood. He makes the call, dives onto the pits, lap 34. He's giving himself 13 laps on the tyres. And the question now is going to be, will Matt Wood immediately respond? Or will it be something different out there? Anthony Catt should get ahead in terms of where they are at the moment. Still due to make that stop. But you've got to be aggressive right now. And for Jorge Marquez, the last thing he wanted in terms of working out where he needed to be was to leave himself a car to overtake in the meanwhile. Had the DRS on the back stretch, but he will now look here towards turn 5 and 6 now at Ferradura, and he knows he's got to make a pass on Cap because Matt Wood surely will be looking to cover that off knowing that fact.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Very quick pit time for Jorge Marquez, fastest that we have seen in this race so far, 19.3 for his overall transit time, stop time and exit time, and then Matt Wood for his first stop, 19.9. So here we go, Matt Wood in the lane. We're going to see where he comes out. It's been a fantastic battle between these two. 35 laps out of lap 47, so it's going to be a fierce race to the end. What's his stop time going to be? Oh, just a little bit slower. Not the end of the world there for Matt Wood though. 0.3 of a second slower than Marquez. Where's he going to come out behind? What's the gap going to be? It's going to be under 2 seconds. We're going to just see him just in the distance there. And yeah, 2 seconds exactly.
2 seconds exact. So work to be done for Matt Wood. 2 seconds and 30 laps to do it. Cap came into the pit. He's going to come out right with Dennis Branch here in a really important scrap. Can he find a way through on the inside? Branch holds it for the moment, but look at what's behind Dennis Branch right now. Aberame with old tyres, Beak, Oliveira, all there. This is a big fight. Cat trying up the hill at Ferradura, try and get that Chelsea car into full position. Not going to quite make that happen, but this is really an important race. 5 cars in a train, all looking for one thing, trying to pick up as many points as they can in the fight for 6th position.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Diogo Oliveira, he's back here in 9th position after that issue at the start of the race. Just waiting there for an opportunity to unfold. In front, he looks like he's going to make a move there on Masafumi Aberama. We're going to see it into turn 1. We do. Oh,
here we go.
He's going for the lunge. He's going to get it to the easily.
Yeah, he's going to pick that up quite nice. Maybe he's going to compromise his run through 2 slightly. Second pass to Senna S and over towards the 3rd turn of the Curve de Salt, 1991. Of course, that fabled victory that in the pouring rain with just 5th gear, Ayrton Senna, probably his greatest ever victory when it comes to it. But Aberame is not giving up. He knows what his race is. He goes to the outside, and he can't quite unlock the magic formula. Gives the place there. So more patience required. Aberame will be looking behind at Oliveira, thinking that this race is going to be a case of death by paper cut from now towards the end of this one. But I'd say that quite a few races here are knocked over all the way up to Renato Augusto for 3rd. I'd say it's not done yet. Gap to the leaders down to 1.4.
Yeah, Matt Wood closing that gap at a rapid rate of knots. He's using that tyre life, absolutely smashed that last lap out of the park. Wow, that is very impressive. A 10.6 there for the first lap for Matt Wood. 0.4 of a second faster than his rival just up the road, Jorge Marquez, who was punched out in 11.057. So he's not going to be able to hold that 10.6 pace lap after lap, but he is closing that gap down to 1.3 seconds now.
He certainly is, and this is where Matt Wood is so good as a driver. He just has that ability. When the chips are down, he's got to go and make something happen. He can claw his way into any situation, and that's what makes him a very tricky customer to handle as it comes to races like these. You do not write anything off of the checkbook in these parameters, but Atwood, he knows that it's going to be a long way. There's Ronaldo Augusto, by the way, in third, matching times then with Kent Nielsen behind. That gap 1.8, 1.9 seconds. These two very similar. Might be a little bit concerned at Cat and Branch if they have a turn of pace in the final stages.
Yeah, you're certainly right. Anthony Cat, some good pace back there. He is hanging on the back of Dennis Branch there, just using that slipstream, actually looking after his tyres a little bit more. You see the back end of Branch's car come around a little bit there. 7 lap old tyres there for Dennis Branch, so those tyres certainly not in brand new condition. We're going to see potentially Anthony Cat here. He's going to be looking for a move. He's done.
He's absolutely sold him there at the station. He could sell his own shoelaces to him if he really wanted to. Knew that Dennis Branch was going to try and defend it long, so he picked up his brakes a little earlier, decided to go for the run off the exit, and made him look quite foolish there in terms of that move. Anthony Cat with a lovely overtake and good enough to jump into 5th position, the number 11 machine. Now Beek's going to be there with Aberame and Oliveira, so they've got eyes on overtakes now in the final stages of this race. So if they can get the run up the hill here through after Junsao, all the way through Mosquito Dos Boxes and Archibancadas, this is where Tom needs to start moving, and he's got himself eyeing up that overtake. He's going to get right underneath. He loves that lunge into turn 1. He's going to get another one. No, he's not. He's going to overshoot it.
That was a big overshoot there for Thomas Veek, and he's going to be... Whoa! All sorts of pressure now, and the car's broken its suspension by the looks of it. Potentially.
Wow.
Wow, let's go back and have a look at that one.
I think he just panicked. I think he just panicked. He gets himself trying to find that line. The car unsettles itself going through turn 3. You're going to see it right now. All of this move as they go up through. So Veek is under pressure at this point in time. He wants to make that move, and he sees it. I've got an opportunity. I'm in close enough range. Full DRS, full pace. Going to look to the inside. As he gets down there, front left locks up. He can't slow it down. He's in the gutter as he goes through. And as he tries to get himself down low, you can see he just has to correct himself going through that section, trying to avoid an incident with Aberame coming through on the inside. And it's basically all of that which opens up now to him being behind Clay Foley, being back in 10th place.
Yeah, exactly right. I thought there was contact between the two. Oh, maybe a little bit of neck code slightly for that one. Potentially this is re-suspension broken.
Aberame's off. Aberame's off, and it was with Oliveira. So at turn 1, Oliveira trying to get into line, but Aberame, as we have a look at this now on the replay, this is how quickly the race could fall apart. Aberame trying to cover his line. Oliveira's desperately trying to follow, and there's a little bit of echo contact, and there it goes. The TC Corsica in all sorts of trouble. A mock-up of one of the super Formula machines out there. Aberame now back behind Thomas Lee.
Big moment there. Quite lucky not to put it in the wall. Go back to live images now. Looking at that battle at the front. We're under a second there, Sperry. 0.7 between Matt Wood and Jorge Martinez. This is going to be a great battle to the finish.
There's DRS now for the first time for Matt Wood. He'll be able to walk down the gap as much as he sees fit here, as they are approaching 50 minutes worth of racing. They've got themselves 6 laps when they next cross the line, and they know that it's going to be a long haul to get themselves home, and they've just got to make sure this race finishes off the way they want to. Aberame under pressure. He's going to be overtaken there. That's Remy Garcia around the outside. Buckley taking the inside through turn 2. And Buckley getting himself sorted. I think he's got DRS as well, where Aberame potentially will not. But Aberame not giving up. They'll both have the DRS, sorry, due to where the marker line is. Aberame, just no tyre life. He can't fight with Liam Buckley.
Certainly can't fight with Liam Buckley. Looking slightly further ahead. Dennis Branch just hanging on the back of Anthony Cat there. 0.6 of a second separating those guys. The battles across this entire field here. A pretty decent little bit of impacts forming. Doing the whole field, looking at the front though. Matt Wood, he's down to 0.3 of a second. He is well in that chance of making a move now. Is he just going to sit back and wait? He's going to look for it. Oh, he's just going to pop his nose out there and try and put a bit of pressure on Jorge Martinez.
It was pressure. He was trying to see whether there was an angle there, but that's the closest we've seen Matt Wood get to Jorge Martinez. You felt if that gap was outside of a second, that chances would be available for them. At this point in time, Martinez is looking behind, knowing he's going to have to do a very, very resolute element of defending for the final 5 and a bit laps of this race at the Autodromo José Carlos Pache. Matt Wood has been working so tirelessly to get himself into position, but Martinez, with that drive up the hill, gives himself about 4 car lengths here to go and play with at this point in time. Only now that you really get the elements of the DRS coming into play, you're going to have enough of a run. Look at him storming. Here comes the look to the inside then. At turn number 1, he's not going to be quite there, but he's going to force Martinez here to struggle through this section. Dirty Air's going to come into play though. I think Martinez has just got enough to hold on here as they head towards the skin of the Lago again.
Yeah, there we go. Fantastic stuff there from Matt Wood. He's really trying to put pressure on, make Jorge Martinez force him into a mistake, but Jorge Martinez is wise to that. He'll be keeping an eye on those mirrors though, looking where Matt Wood is going. The last thing these guys want to do is make contact with each other. Tyre life is going to be a big part to play come these last 4 laps. I think Martinez, he'll be on 13 lap old tyres at that stage. Matt Wood on 12 lap old tyres, so 1 lap will be all it takes to change the end result of this race.
Their gap is so large right now that they could actually get out of their cars, go for a round of boxing, and then go back in the cars and finish the race 1 and 2 right now. 16 seconds, the margin to Renato Augusto. Martinez still holding off here against Matt Wood, who gives himself a bit of room through the opening section this time by trying to maybe recharge some of that energy recovery system, trying to maybe give himself some chances. There is Liam Buckley again, trying to have a look in the fight for the top 10. This is against Remy Garcia. Garcia, of course, had his best qualifying out there, started 6th on the grid, but he's fallen backwards in this race, back all the way to 10th.
Yeah, it certainly has. Not the greatest result there for him, but still keeping it on the black stuff. And oh, we're going to see a move on the outside here, are we? He's going to go right around the outside. Great job there for Liam Buckley to move into P number 10. Oh, or has he?
Not yet.
Oh.
Just look at this. Oh, here comes the attack. Trying to get some help then on that inside. Remy Garcia not giving up as they go tyre to tyre. Breaks into that next section. Buckley, just absolute track general. Told very much Remy Garcia what he could have, what he could not have, and effectively shepherded him, pinched him on the inside to say, you're not getting that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Haven't seen a huge amount of this guy, haven't focused much of our time on him. John Pat Kelly, absolute legend for the series. He is here every week. I don't think I have broadcasted this series on a Sunday morning, my time, Saturday evening, your time, where John Pat Kelly is not turned up to race, and not always doesn't really finish right at the front, but normally we see him battling around that top 10 area. He's currently sitting in 13th. Looks like he wants to make that move on Sakaguchi just in front of him. Yeah,
Hiroyuki Sakaguchi in the battle of 12th and 13th. Sakaguchi does have the old tyres. He's on a one-stop, remember. And for John Pat Kelly, he'll want to get through. So too, you've got Oberslak, Kalashnikov, and just behind that, Aberame, the 3 of them in a bit of a race. Right at the back, 14th, 15th, and 16th positions here in this one. And they go in towards turn number 1. And there is no element of change at this point in time. Lead battle, we will refocus on at some point. That gap is still around half a second here. And Matt Wood is just happily sitting there waiting. Martinez, I think, has turned up the wick here and trying to use that tyre life to defend.
Yeah, it certainly is. Using that tyre life to defend. Matt Wood potentially just saving those tyres, letting the temperature drop out of them. He's going to have a hard drive on that last lap that we're going to see very soon and make a move. It'll be interesting to see where he tries and makes a move. We are seeing some serious pace coming out of Jorge Martinez's car on that last lap with a 10.7, 0.1 of a second faster than Matt Wood. Matt Wood is responding, he's sticking within that half a second gap, maybe just giving the front of a car a little bit of more air to help it with tyre life on this last lap.
Well, this is also the other thing. If you get yourself in a 5-6-10 window, you're going to be in some trouble because you'll hit that dirty air barrier and buffer, and it will not help. One retirement then in this race. Samuli Väyrynen pulled it over to the side of the road a couple of laps ago. His day is done. There is the white flag from finally the flag man. Let's get ourselves going. Matt Wood has been gearing up its entire race based on turn 4. He goes through the curve of the Sol now at turn 3. Looks like Martinez trying to get as much as he can. Matt Wood knows he wants to win. He was unsuccessful last time out at Silverstone, and he doesn't get close enough here, but he's the closest he's been for a while. He can attack up the hill. He's got himself a chance, but it is now going to come down to just chances and positioning the car properly up the hill through Ferradura, the Laranjina as well, and over towards the next kick right, this 90-degree right, all over the curves, down the hill through the Pinarino, and then back up towards the Bico de Pato. Wood's doing an incredibly good job to keep himself in range. He had a half thought there of diving to the inside of the corner, backed out of it well early. So they go through the dirty air corner of Mahulo, and now Junsao corner here on this final lap. It's all about drive off the exit for Martinez. He knows that Matt Wood is there, that Matt Wood is close, but close is not going to do it when you're able to hold it off. It's Jorge Martinez to the line with the W.
Oh, there we go. Fantastic drive there from Jorge Martinez. Matt Wood gave it everything he had, but couldn't quite get there. Maybe one lap to go. He would have changed things, but yeah, great drive from Martinez. Ronaldo Augusto back here in third, a lone drive by himself. Well done to Ronaldo Augusto. Kent Nielsen, great finish for him in fourth position. He'll be absolutely stoked with that overall result. And Anthony Cat there finishing in fifth.
They will make drives to the line. Liam Buckley and I believe Remy Garcia still fighting for that top 10. Look at them, nose to nose. Here comes Remy. He's going to go to the outside. He runs out of road. He was short there by about half a hundredth of a second. That shows you, half a tenth of a second he was short by. That is how much the gaps that we are seeing coming to the line are important. A disappointing late for Masafumi Abarame as he on lap 40. That hit dropped him way down the order, and that will be now everybody over the line. So we will be able to get confirmation of results then here from the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache. Jorge Martinez had to hold on in his 56 minutes and 39 seconds, winning by the tune of a quarter of a second, I should say. There I was going to say 2.5 tenths is the gap. Matt Wood finished second, and Ronaldo Augusto came across the line to get third. Kent Nielsen will finish fourth on a very, very solid drive. He started 12th, remember, got himself up to fifth by the end of the first lap, and fourth is a great result. Anthony Katz in fifth, and Dennis Branch, the American, there in sixth place. Diogo Oliveira finishes in seventh, with eighth going to Kleber Toffoli. Ninth will be in the back pocket of Thomas Veek as Liam Buckley rounds out the top 10. For Remy Garcia, he just misses out by half a tenth of a second in the end, as he will get 11th, and John Pat Kelly 12th. Hiroyuki Sekiguchi and Masafumi Abarame both tried the one-stop strategy, both finding themselves in 13th and 14th, with Gennady Kalashnikov and Jacob Oberslack 15th and 16th. Only retiree from that race was Samuli Väyrynen in the number 6. His issues early causing him to drop way down the order in terms of what the field had to offer here today. But in terms of a race like this, Fonty, we've seen just how important these battles can be in the iRacing Grand Prix series. It's a crucial week as well in terms of looking at championships, looking at where people need to be, need to find all of their elements of work. But I'm pretty sure next time out is going to be the most important round of the season to date, because Salut Gilles it will be the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve that we will be jumping to for the 9th round overall.
Oh yeah, absolutely fantastic track. This next round, next Sunday morning, Saturday night, UK time, we'll go to this awesome circuit and watch these guys battle it out there. Expect to see plenty of action, plenty of carnage potentially as well, and another round of great racing. Matt Wood and Jorge Martinez no doubt will be battling it out there and fighting for the top. Will Leonardo Augusto bring a bit more pace to the next round, and will we see the likes of Diogo Oliveira have a better event next time round?
Well, for all of that, you will have to wait and see with us at SimSpeed TV. That is 1 week from today. A massive thanks goes to the Virtual Racing School. And on top of that, to those who have been here with us today, from Scott Fountain, cameras and commentary, myself, Jake Sperry. It is a race which, by every single metric, you want to go out and get as many points as you can. And for Wood versus Martinez, that was a race by all intents and purposes, where they left everything on the line and tried to get as much as they could from them. But chances will remain. Interlagos remains a classic for races and battles for the win. But it is Gilles Villeneuve next time out who will master themselves through the very, very tricky streets of what is the roads near the St. Lawrence River. We'll see you 1 week from today. Salut, Gilles. We'll see you soon.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now. He's got traction. He's got everything outside of both of them. Maloney. Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up to him. Oh my God. Oh, big crash. Oh my goodness. Half the field's going to get rolled.
It's very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go. Oh no. That's massive. This is it. This is over. I can't believe this. Oh my God.
God.